This week's Parashá that we're reading in the Torah is Shemot. It's the first Parashá of the book of Exodus. And one of the most important things in this Parashá is that the Redeemer of Israel, Moshé Rabeinu, is born. He appears on the scene of the Torah for the first time in this week's Parashá. At the time of his birth, his mother, Iojeved, when she gives birth to him, it's actually a little bit in secret because Parashá had decreed that all the children should be thrown into the Nile. So it was all in secret. And when she gave birth to her son, Moshé Rabeinu, she looked at the newborn babe, and it says in Hebrew, "Vateroto kitovu," that she saw that he was good. And then she hid him away for 3 months. All of the commentaries say that every mother loves her child, and every mother, when she sees a newborn baby, immediately embraces, hugs the baby, and for sure he's good, and he's the very best gift that God can give a mother. So what does it mean? What does the Torah mean to emphasize the word good, that she saw that he was good? There must be some special meaning, some unique meaning to that word good in this context of the birth of Moshé Rabeinu. So actually there is a whole array of different commentaries, different meanings, what the goodness of Moshé Rabeinu. Let's have in mind that Moshé Rabeinu is the Redeemer of Israel. He was the first Redeemer, and his soul returns to be the final Redeemer, which is the Mashiach. So everything that is said about Moshé Rabeinu is very pertinent to our understanding and to our connection to Goel Yisrael, to the Redeemer of Israel. So the fact that the very first descriptive term that is used about him is that he is good, that must be something most essential to the very being, the core being of the Redeemer of Israel, Moshé Rabeinu. So in short, we're going to go through 7 different meanings that were given by the sages, what that word good refers to when Moshé Rabeinu is first born. And as we usually do when we discuss a whole array of commentary on a certain concept, we try to arrange it and to model it based on a Kabbalistic model. And if there are 7 different interpretations, so those interpretations must correspond to the 7 emotive powers of the heart, which are in Hebrew, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yisod, Malchut. And in English, the translations are usually loving kindness and might and beauty and victory and acknowledgement and foundation and kingdom. So let's see how the sages give 7 different interpretations to the word good at Moses' birth, and how it corresponds to all of his emotive character. The first interpretation, which is the one that Rashi brings, that Rashi is the most literal commentary on the Chumash, on the Bible, he says that good refers to the very first time that good was mentioned in the Torah. At the very beginning of creation, it says that God created the first thing as a light on the first day. The first day of creation corresponds to the first of the 7 emotions, which is love, loving kindness. And he created light, he looked at the light, and he saw that the light was good. So it's very, very similar. Just like God created light and looked at the light and saw that the light was good, so exactly the same way, Iojeved, the mother of Moshé Rabeinu, gave birth to Moshe, her son, and she looked at him. That's what it says, Vateroto, she looked at him, and she saw that he was good. So there must be some relation between Moses, his birth, and the appearance of new created light. So the sages say that indeed, at the moment that he was born, came out of the womb of his mother, the whole room became full of light. That's the first interpretation, that the fact that she saw that he was good means that the light encompassed all of space around Moshé Rabeinu. So since this interpretation is derived from the comparison of his birth to the creation of the first day, which is Chesed, this light, this first light that appears, that is his essential loving kindness, his midah, his character of Chesed. A second interpretation reads that we know that Moshé Rabeinu was born in the 7th month, or actually the beginning of the 7th month of pregnancy, 6 months and 1 day. And the mother, when she gives birth so early to a baby, it could be a miscarriage. She doesn't know if the formation of the baby is complete or not complete. Also, it says that she was a very old woman at this time. Not everybody realizes, but she was 130 years old. And for a very old woman to give birth to a child, according to nature, very often the child will be weak. But when she looked at her new baby, Moshé Rabeinu, not only was he complete, but he also appeared to be strong. This is actually the interpretation of Targum Yonatan, one of the translations into Aramaic of the text. That even though he was born early and was born to a very old mother, but he was complete and strong. So the fact that, and that's the meaning of the word good, that she saw that he was good, meaning that he was full, he was completely formed, well-formed, and very strong. Almost like a grown child. So that interpretation corresponds to might, because the word that is used is actually strength. She saw that he was strong. There's something about good. There's something about the word good, to be good, that a person is strong. To be good, you have to be strong. The next interpretation, which is close to this one, but it's a different interpretation, that very often the word good in Hebrew, in the Tanakh and the Torah, means beautiful. Like, for instance, when the Torah describes Rebecca as also a young child at the age of 3, before she married Yitzchak, Isaac. So the Torah uses the word tovat mara. She was of goodly appearance, very, very much of goodly appearance. So many of the commentaries say that the child was simply the most beautiful child, even though, as we said before, every mother loves her child. But there was some special beauty of this child that no other mother experienced in looking at her newborn babe. So this obviously, the interpretation that good in this context means beautiful, that corresponds to the third of the emotive sfirot, which is beauty, tiferet. The next two of the sfirot normally go together as a pair. They are netzach and hod. And just to explain in short what is the difference between these two and the 3 previous ones, the 3 previous ones are essential to one's own personality or one's own character. As to say that someone is good means that something inherently good about this person. So either it's good that he's full of light, that he is full of light, or he's strong, or that he's beautiful. Those are all attributes that describe him. But when we come to the next 2 sfirot of netzach and hod, they are more pragmatic, meaning that if I say that someone is good at the level of netzach or hod, the next 2 of the sfirot, which is victory and acknowledgement, I mean that he's good for something. If something is good for, he's able to perform and to achieve and to succeed in a certain function that he's good for. So actually there are 2 now interpretations that do go together as a pair. The sages say that she saw that he was good to become a prophet. She had some sense, some intuition. The mother has intuition. She looked at her new baby and she said that he is ra'ui l'neviut. This baby is good to become a prophet. What is the prophecy of Moshé Rabeinu? Through him, he is the channel through whom we received the Torah, the greatest prophecy of all. There's another interpretation. She looked at her baby, and she says, he is good to be the redeemer of Israel, to redeem the Jewish people. Chazal, the sages in a different context, say that Moshé Rabeinu is called good, there's a very beautiful phrase, idiom, that they say, may good come and receive good from good to good. May come good is Moses, he's called good in this when he's born, and receive good, the Torah, his prophecy, the Torah is called good. From good, God is the author of the Torah, and he is the absolute good. To good, the Jewish people are also called good. So there's like an extended pun on words that the sages say, may good come and receive good from good to good. So that all has to do with the netzach property of Moshé Rabeinu. Because it says in Kabbalah that prophecy comes from this sphira, this power, this emotive power of victory. Victory also means eternity. The Torah is an eternal word of God and teaching of God. Then the corresponding one, just like Moshé Rabeinu gives us the Torah, and he's good, I see that he's good to become a prophet, I see that he's good to become the Redeemer of Israel. How do I know that good refers to a Redeemer? A Redeemer means that you take someone out of bondage, just like the Jewish people were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. In Kabbalah, we're taught that bondage versus freedom is a property of Hod, of this fifth sphira. Either a person is free or is in bondage. Moses is able to take a soul, means our souls, that if we're in bondage, whether it's physical bondage or spiritual bondage, there comes a soul that is capable to redeem us from our bondage. That's a property in Kabbalah of Hod. How do I know that that's called goodness? Because in the book of Ruth, the scroll of Ruth, the Redeemer is called good. The word good is used as a name of the Redeemer. A Redeemer also means one that redeems a woman and marries her, and therefore also redeems a previous husband that died prematurely. So the Redeemer in the book of Ruth is called good. So to be able to redeem and uplift a soul, or the souls of the Jewish people, and take us out of bondage, that's essential goodness. So once more, these are a pair of goodness. He's good to become a prophet. He's good to become a redeemer. Actually, Pharaoh himself knew that this is the day. His astrologist told him that this is the day that the Redeemer of Israel is going to be born. It also makes it correspond to Hod, because there was some sense, even the other side, the wicked side, the evil side of Pharaoh, also realized that on this day, this is a good day, the best day, for the Redeemer of Israel to be born. Obviously that was in the news, because she was also afraid. Everybody was afraid of the decree of Pharaoh. So everybody knew that the astrologers had said that this is the day that the Redeemer of Israel is going to be born. When she saw her child born, her new babe, so she said, this is the Redeemer of Israel. This one is going to become the Redeemer of Israel. That's what. The next commentary, interpretation, is Yesod foundation. Foundation in Kabbalah, and also even in the revealed part of the Torah, has to do with Brit Milah, with circumcision. And so actually it says that Moshé Rabeinu was born circumcised. And since he was born circumcised, that circumcision, that being circumcised, that is his essential goodness. Because about a tzaddik who is circumcised, it says, Imru tzaddik tov. Speak to a tzaddik, this is good. Also means that he's good, his very nature. He doesn't have base passions. To be circumcised means that he's very pure in his desires, in his otherwise animalistic desires, whether it's eating, whether it's sexual desires. He's good. He's a good person. He's good in essence. In his foundation, he's good. That's the tov of Yisod. The final one is Malchut. And Malchut in Kabbalah is one's name. So the sages say that this word good, which appears at the birth of Moshé Rabeinu, also refers to his very name. That his mother initially, before he was called Moses, that the daughter of the princess of Egypt, Batya, the daughter of Pharaoh, called him Moses. But before he received that name Moses, the original name that his mother gave him was Tov, good. And name is one's name is the way one appears and one is referred to and called by society around him. That's his malchut. One's name is one's kingdom. And Moshé Rabeinu's kingdom, he reigns by his name, who is the essence of goodness. So now we went through in very short the 7 different interpretations of what that word good means in the context of the birth of Moshé Rabeinu. And this is actually a whole picture of the character of his heart. The 7 attributes of the heart. So may we merit to the Moshé Rabeinu of this generation with all these attributes. And if we think of them, we also have to try to manifest these attributes in ourselves. Because everyone, it says, has a spark of Moshé Rabeinu inside of you. May this Moshé Rabeinu be born in this week, this very week.